Do you know who can blow through a $650 million fortune? And if you're wondering why that precise figure, well, it's apparently what our beloved Pirate of the Caribbean Johnny Depp reportedly lost. That's right, no problem with your hearing whatsoever. So, how did Mr. Depp blow through almost half of his fortune? Well, let's take a closer look at the 15 crazy ways Captain Jack Sparrow downed his wealth like a bottle of rum. Alright, so how did Depp do it? Let's dive in. Number 1. Poor choice of a management company. The first reason Depp blew through his $650 million film fortune is simply a poor choice of a management company. During Depp's trial at London's Royal Courts of Justice, he alleged that the $650 million he had amassed from movies was gone, thanks to financial mismanagement by the management group TMG, run by Depp's longtime business manager Joel Mandel and his brother Robert. He went on to further reveal that he discovered his taxes had not been paid on his behalf for 17 years, meaning that he owed the IRS $100 million in back taxes. But not being one to let millions slide, Depp actually sued TMG, accusing the brothers of negligence, breach of fiduciary duty, and fraud. And just to give you some details, the suit cites that among other things, under TMG's watch, Depp's sister Christy was given $7 million without his knowledge. And that's not the lot of it. His assistant, Nathan Holmes, was also given $750,000, again without Depp's knowledge. Number 2. He was overzealous with taking care of family. Now, there's no problem in taking care of your family members, but when you get overzealous, you could end up in a financial mess. You can ask Mr. Depp. Word is that Johnny bought a farm in Lexington, Kentucky for his mom, but his sister, her husband, and child made the property their home too. There's no telling for sure the reason behind this, but Depp actually went ahead to employ them to take care of things at the farm, which meant he was paying them out of his pocket. But despite this obvious good deed, the family members ended up overdoing expenses, and Johnny still had to sort things out. But there's more. Johnny's mom, Betty Sue, was diagnosed with cancer in 2013. Following this, Johnny opted to rent her a $30,000 a month residence in LA to get her closer to her treatment. His mom thankfully soon got better and moved back to the Kentucky farm, but the lease on her LA home would continue to renew, further denting Depp's finances. Number 3. Paying Amber Heard $7 million in a divorce settlement. In 2016, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard agreed on a divorce settlement. The price tag? A cool $7 million. The pair had been duking it out in court in a bitter divorce row that lasted almost a year. And when the dust finally settled, Depp was $7 million poorer. Amber Heard reportedly donated a portion of her settlement to charity. Number 4. Costly separation from Vanessa Paradis. Mr. Depp's separations have been costly to say the least. Before Amber, there was Vanessa Paradis, mother of their 2 children and partner for 14 years. When they finally split amicably back in 2012, Johnny agreed to a massive settlement of over $125 million. But that figure was actually a relief for Mr. Depp since he and Vanessa were not married. Had that been the case, though, Vanessa would have been entitled to half of whatever money Depp brought in during their marriage. And let's not forget alimony and child support. And it's also reported that Johnny bought Vanessa a $4.5 million residence. Number 5. Out of this world spending. Depp's extravagance and wild spending also significantly contributed to the decline of his fortune. He reportedly owns a yacht worth $18 million that requires a hefty $350K per month to maintain. He's also very generous with his gifts, many people saying he splashed out $400,000 on a diamond cuff for Amber Heard while they were together. He also spent $7,000 on a couch from Keeping Up with the Kardashians for his daughter, Lily Rose. Number 6. Pricey booze and hash. Depp reportedly has a never-ending reservoir of wine, which he admitted himself was expensive, although TMG alleged that Depp spent $30,000 on wine monthly. He contradicted that, saying it was in fact much more. Seriously, Johnny? Okay. Number 7. He's kept numerous staff members. Mr. Depp had a huge team of staff members, which cost him a significant part of his $650 million fortune. According to CNBC, TMG's lawsuit against the pirate claimed he had at least 40 full-time employees who set him back as much as $300,000 a month. But get this, in addition to that hefty figure, the captain spent $150,000 a month on his family's security and a further $200K monthly on private jet transport. But perhaps the most bizarre of all is the $1.2 million he parted with just to keep a doctor on call. And though the figure is not exactly mentioned, it's alleged that Depp also spent significant money on a sound engineer who used to feed him lines during movie productions. Number 8. He was acquiring real estate all over the place. Johnny Depp lost much of his liquidity to the ground. Ask any of those close to him and you'll learn he loved real estate, some suggesting it bordered on obsession. On top of the already mentioned Kentucky farm and LA residence, Captain Jack had 13 other properties he called home. He has 5 houses in the Hollywood Hills, worth approximately $19 million, that he apparently wanted to connect by building an underground tunnel. That's right. And also at some point he owned 5 penthouse lofts in LA before selling 2 of them. The 3 remaining ones go for a combined $6.5 million. And you think you've heard it all on Depp's real estate misadventures? Well, there's more. Mr. Depp also parted with a cool $5.35 million to get his name on the deed of a private island in the Bahamas. And to crown his real estate exploits, he splashed out $10 million to simply renovate a village-like compound in France that he purchased for an undisclosed amount of money. Number 9. He's had many legal woes. Johnny Depp has dealt with tons of lawsuits, which have cost him big. He's apparently spent a lot on attorneys to keep him out of trouble. He's no stranger to courtrooms because he's often being sued or suing someone else. For instance, his bodyguards sued him because he put them in alleged unsafe working environments, such as having illegal substances in his car. And on the other hand, he sued The Sun, a tabloid that ran a story painting him in a bad light. Number 10. Simply enough, he just wasn't taking his finances seriously. Mr. Depp has gone on record to say he actually trusted other people to handle his finances. Why? Well, apparently he wanted to use his brainpower on the roles he was playing. In fact, he said he always signed off on money without looking at the fine print, if there was any, just because he trusted those who brought him the documents. Number 11. He was fired from Fantastic Beasts. The Fantastic Beasts franchise meant some good money for Depp. I mean, think about it. He received $16 million for being fired from the franchise. So how much more could he have made if he kept playing the wizard Gellert Grindelwald? Just thinking out loud here. Number 12. Disney dropped him. Depp achieved great theatrical and financial success by playing Captain Jack Sparrow in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. But even so, the word is he had so many troubles during the making of Dead Man Tell No Tales that Disney considered it a relief to drop him after Amber's allegations. In fact, he had actually gone on record to say that it only took Disney a couple of days after the allegations to drop him. Number 13. A huge appetite for fine art. Apparently, Johnny's appetite for the finer things doesn't stop at expensive wine and houses all over the country. He did, in fact, have an affinity for fine art, or in other words, the super pricey pieces. Depp has amassed over 200 fine art pieces, and even memorabilia that he's stored in 12 separate storage facilities. Talk about being an avid collector. Number 14. Participating in projects that did not fare well. Another thing that dealt quite a blow to Johnny's finances was picking projects that didn't garner the expected reviews. Poorly chosen projects, or maybe a dose of bad luck, added to his already strained brand and resulted in his earnings going down. And remember, he was already misspending and mismanaging his money. Number 15. He invested poorly. As if all the personal spending wasn't enough, Johnny lost even more money on projects that never really picked up. A good example of this is his record label, which didn't really take off despite setting him back $4 million in capital. Now, over to you, Aluxer. What do you think contributed the most to Johnny's financial woes? Is his management to blame, as he says? Comment with your thoughts below. And as a true Aluxer, you know it's not over until there's a bonus, right? So here it is. Johnny's IRS penalties and interest. Despite earning huge paychecks throughout his career, Johnny apparently had a problem giving Caesar what belongs to Caesar. He had tax arrears dating back to 2000, and for that, he had to pay the IRS a cool $5.7 million in penalties and interest alone. Now, even with the $650 million gone, Johnny is far from washed up. He's still worth about $150 million. Plus, he's not retired from the screens just yet, so we could still see him bag successful projects in the future. Who knows?